Hello everyone, this is the F80 M3 and we're here to see, should you spend near on almost 2 million rand more for the G80 M3, or should you save your money and pay almost 700,000 rand for a used F80 M3? We are,
but this is just on a whole new level.
TVEC.
This is a performance car after all, so you'd expect it to be a lot more rough in terms of ride.
Reactions.
Yo!
Reviews.
Handmade engineering underneath this monster.
Messing around.
4 liters of fuel. Eugene, you're paying for this.
It's crazy. I'm not gonna have enough.
Like, comment, subscribe, enjoy. Now before this video gets started, I'd just like to give a massive thank you to Boete and Dazel here in Europort for giving us this amazing car, as well as the owner, Martinez, you're a legend, for giving us this wonderful F80 M3. We've already done reviews of this place, such as the Focus RS, of which you can see right over there. If you want to check out that video, make sure you click the link up above. So again, just like to give a massive thank you to Boete and Dazel for giving us this amazing opportunity. Make sure you click the links down below.
Okay guys, we are with the F80 M3 and it is the OG M3 of the F generation, not a competition, not a CS, just a M3. And I have to compare it to the new G80. Seeing as we have just done the new Touring, go check that video out, why not do the OG F series? And to start off, we're going to actually speak about looks, because that's a very big difference between the two cars. This is beautiful in the front, and that isn't the most beautiful in the front. Very controversial. They kind of took this, expanded it out, and twisted it this way. And now the nose goes like this in the new G80. But when you look at the F80, it is just stunning. It was a near enough perfect co-car or new car to the previous M3, the E generation. This is such a good forward car from that car there. It is still an M car. It's still wide. It's still angry. It's still very presence-based. It looks good, and especially in this gold BMW color, which is actually its launch color, and it looks fantastic in person. Now, starting off at the front, you have your very well-known BMW hood over here, which the G80 actually doesn't have. So BMW, I'm watching you again, because why doesn't it have one of these? You have your really nice, really well-known M lights, and your M3 badging with your silver-lined grille, your big kidney grille. Well, I say big in terms of it being bigger than like an E46, but it's not big in today's terms. Now you have all your real vents here to allow for airflow, and these all are actually real, which I can give BMW a big thumbs up for. Now coming to the side of the car, you can see you've got your M mirror caps, as well as this car is spec'd with a carbon fiber roof. You have your M ducts here, which looking are actually real, which is something the new G80 doesn't have either. You have your really nice M3 wheels, which I actually really like for this generation, and they work really well with the car, especially with these massive M brakes behind there, which get you to stop almost as quick as you get going. Now coming along, this is obviously an M3, so it is a 4-door, unlike the E generation where you could have a 2-door M3. These M3s were only 4-door. Possibly my favorite part about this car, coming to the rear end now, is this long, strong line that runs all the way across to the front there and down by the door lining. You've got your nice side skirt, as well as these massive rear arches, and I mean massive. We've been talking about some thick cars on the channel, but this may be one of the thickest we've seen so far. Coming to the rear end now, it is just once again stunning. You have your really nice M-styled rear over here with more vents, as well as these really nice exit vents here, 4 tailpipes because that's how it's done, and your M3 badge. No competition because it isn't a competition. So overall, the looks of this was near perfect for a performance sedan in my opinion, especially for an M3. And I really think that BMW didn't do the greatest job with the front end of the new car. Other than that, the new G series is actually really nice in M3 form, and is possibly better looking than the M4 G80 series. So if you were to take a G80, get the M3, but otherwise, save 2 million rand and get something like this. Let's head inside.
So guys, now that we're on the interior of the previous generation M3, it's just so much more simple looking. Like your gauge cluster, you have your speedometer and your tachometer in there, and then you have a little bit of a digital gauge cluster going on down below, showing like the service due and everything associated with the vehicle functions of the car. And pretty much everything else is a 3 Series in here. I mean, the infotainment system, that is straight out of something like a 320i M Sport. and it's nothing to call home for. Basically, you have your media, you have your nav, your radio, everything associated with an infotainment system. And then coming down to your climate controls and your radio controls, everything is standard in here. 2 cup holders, you have your gear selector, your drive modes, your infotainment selector, and that's very, very nice. Now, they did change this for the newer versions of this car as the years went on, where you could actually have it as a touchscreen model. And then coming underneath the center console, I don't know when last you guys saw a BlackBerry, but when I opened this, so many memories just came flooding back to me, because that just tells you that the 2010s were really a really interesting and innovative era for technology, for cars, and everything in general. But the interior cabin of this car is just so much more simple looking. Like in the modern era, as we stand today, we're so bombarded by screens and so many things associated with vehicle functions. Honestly, it is overkill at times. But so when I sit in here, or when we sit in here, it's just so good just to feel like, you know, this is still a car. You feel a part of the car. And again, it's a BMW. It's angled towards the driver. You feel you are a part of the car. The pedal shifters are plastic, and it's nothing to really complain about. It's fine. Then you have obviously the very annoying stalks where you can't actually like cancel it fully, where you have to do it in between. It's a very confusing system that I'm really glad that BMW changed that for the new generation G80. So now let me hand it over to Mateo.
Okay, guys, I'm now in the passenger side of the F80 M3, and I have to say, it is just such a lovely place to be. Now, build quality in BMW has gotten a lot better as the years have gone by, which I'll touch in a bit. But let's first talk about some pros. For one, this is such a sporty car to be inside of. From these M mirror caps to the big nose on top of the bonnet there, the big lifted piece there that you see, it's like a muscle car, like a German muscle car. BMW, keep it this way. It looks like a German muscle car inside here. Now, another nice thing is it's very, very comfortable. And like Eugene said, it's very simple. These are all physical buttons. They're easy to use, easy to get along with. They're very ergonomic. The screen isn't a touch screen. You have to use this to use it, but it's simple to use. Everything's where it should be. It's not overcomplicated, and there's no giant screen that runs across the entirety of the front. There's still analog gauge clusters. But, I mean, other than that, it is just really nice inside here. All of this is leather over here. There's some more leather around here. This is all soft touch, and soft touch. And even down here, there's quite a nice soft touch in here with a nice carpety material running along the side there. So it is still very nice. But there are some nitty-gritties. I can give it a little bit of leeway because it is a 10-year-old car. But for instance, this is a bit of BMW build quality from the time. And I have to applaud BMW. They have gotten way, way better, and everybody knows this now. One of the worst things is this glove box. Not only is it quite small, but this handle may be the cheapest feeling handle I've felt in a while. And I'm not very happy about that. You're going to be paying nearly R1 million new for these. And so in that case, to have a cheap button like that, it's not really great. You can still see the very, very 3 Series interior with a little bit of M badging there and M badging there and M badging there. And that's about that. Now, other than that, I must say everything's quite nice. If we look at the seats here, you've got your M badging as well as your M almost bucket seats, which are really nice. They're really nicely bolstered and hug you in quite nicely. So enough about the front. Let's actually head to the rear.
So now that we're in the rear space of this car, again, it's an M3. It has to be practical. So how does it fare up in the practicality side of things? Sitting in the seats, it does feel like you are sitting above the people in front, and it does feel like it is really eating into your backside a bit. But I guess on long journeys, it wouldn't be too bad. But there's really nothing to complain about back here. And there's really nothing else to talk about because it is a 3 Series at the end of the day. Well, an M3, but with 3 Series parts. You don't have any controls here for your venting, except just to control how much air is coming out, if it's hot or cold. And while looking above here, I'm around 5'8". I have quite a bit of headroom. People over like 6 foot, let's say 6'2", would be struggling a bit. But other than that, it's really, really nothing to really complain about. But now let's head over to the rear boot space.
Okay, guys, we are now at the rear. Because being an M3, being a 3 Series, being a sedan, you have to have some sort of practicality. So looking inside the boot is actually very spacious. Now, it isn't the biggest of openings, so something like an RS4 Avant or even an Audi RS5 Coupe or Sportback has a little bit of a bigger boot, mainly because of the hatchback styled opening that those cars have, which give you a little bit more space to actually put stuff in. This is a really short back end, so there's not a lot of space this way to put in, but I must say the back is quite low, so it's very easy to load in. And if you look inside here, you've got plenty space going back there. Enough for a few suitcases. So if you're going on a family trip with 3 or 4 people, you will be fine. And if it's only 2 of you, you can fold down those back seats and have even more space. Now, coming to some funny things I'd like to talk about. Being a BMW, we know they have oil issues, so BMW's looked after you. You've got plenty of rubber mats all over the place, so that oil doesn't leak in the back of your storage over here for when you store for extra oil. And even at the back here, you don't get tools, but rather space for oil. Now, I am joking, but we all know BMWs, it's most likely true. Let's actually head to the most interesting part about the car, in the engine.
Not only does this car look amazing, but the engine bay just looks so much more exciting. It looks so much more like a driver's car, because in the new one they got rid of this wonderful carbon fiber strut brace and put in a normal steel brace, which just looks like a regular thing that you see on most hot hatches. Now, talking about the engine specs of this car, it is the 3-liter twin turbo straight 6 S55, putting out around 317 kilowatts, which is around 430 horsepower and 550 newton meters of torque. 0 to 100 times claimed is 4.2, but because of rear-wheel drive and how this car's LSD isn't as good as what M cars are today, you'd probably get around 4.5 seconds. But on a prep surface, you could probably get this down to around 4 seconds. Now, looking at this, I just cannot stop staring at this, because with so many more new cars, there's so much going on. With this, you can just see the air intakes over there. You can see the airbox and this massive bulge in the engine. And funny enough, when this car came out, it was very controversial, because obviously in the previous generation E90, that was the glorious naturally aspirated V8. So when this came back to its format as a BMW, being a straight 6 rear-wheel drive car, there was so much controversy. Kind of like how the new one is today, except that one just has a really hideous front end. But now, let's head over to the back, because we have to hear how this engine sounds. So now, coming to the end of this wonderful review of the F80 Generation M3, what do we think about it? And should you actually spend a lot less than getting the new G80? I think both of us can agree yes, because this is pretty much everything that you want in a car. It looks amazing, the styling is amazing, the performance is amazing, the sound is utterly, eargasmingly amazing. I'm pretty sure you heard that. The interior is good enough for everyone, and obviously, being an M car, you get that sense that you are being part of a proper brand. So again, I'd just like to give a massive thank you to Bote and Dezo here in Rudapur again for giving us this amazing car, as well as to Martinez. Bro, I love you so much. Just make sure that you let us drive this car another time. So if you want to make sure you're going to keep seeing reviews like this, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, because we got a lot more of this coming in the future. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.